The patch notes today were supposed to be very boring, but actually weren't, because they did a very funny oopsie. Let me actually translate this page to English generally. But the fun thing is an interesting mistake that they made that I want to comment about. So, final boss Kusok is dropping. This is the look of the alpha. I mean, doesn't this look just like an alpha he already has? Am I tripping? I'm opening Kusok right now in the game. Doesn't this look like an alpha he already has? I mean, it doesn't matter. I don't mind them giving Kusok an alpha because because Chandler got one. But like, it looks similar. I don't know, maybe I'm tripping. It's just all the costumes for Kusok look the same to me. I was thinking it looked similar to this one, but like this one's blue. I mean, they all kind of look the same. There's one that's red as well, but doesn't matter. Kusok already has multiple outfits, so it's just adding on to more outfits for him. A character that no one actually uses, just a back unit. So cool. After they're done with Kusok, hopefully they move on to characters that actually need outfits. Like, bro, this is not a joke, alright? I'm... Freaking Nebula Zeldris. Still, I don't have his 5th weapon. And he is supposed to already have 5 weapons, but one of them is an exclusive Halloween outfit that has never returned, right? Never returned, and during the time of Halloween, Speedy had my account. And he didn't buy it because of that cheap ass. I don't have the 5th weapon. So, and they returned the Halloween outfits for Esteros and Melly, but not for Zeldris. So why not a character that actually needs outfits? Like Kusok has got the Battle Pass outfit, Hawk Pass, whatever, same thing. And so did Chandler. And this, like, there's so many characters that don't have as many outfits as they have, but sure, whatever. Hopefully they move on to characters that actually need outfits now. Especially free outfits. It's gonna be the same, it's gonna be like challenge and whatever, you know. You get the headpiece by being 50%. It's gonna be the same as usual, final boss formula never changes anymore. And the shop is the same as usual. Actually, 4 times 20. That's 80. That's pretty good. It's pretty good. Now here's where it starts to get nice. So these are some bug fixes. So fix an issue where for something wasn't displaying correctly. It doesn't matter. Fix an issue where this was displaying correctly. Here's where some backgrounds were not displayed correctly. How about fix an issue where the PC version is not beta anymore? This is the real shit, okay? They are making a change to Tyr's passive, but it's not a change, it's just a visual change, because if you go on Tyr's passive, so it reads, and I want you to really like understand this, it reads, at the start of battle, applies Berserk to applicable allies for 1 turn, taunts all enemies, for every applicable ally in battle increases all stats, all allies damage by 5%, sorry. And increases the hero's crit damage by 45%. Additionally, at the start of allies' turn, applies 40% crit reduction for 1 turn. Now, what they are saying is that they forgot to add to this massive passive, they forgot to also mention that Tyr has another ability on top of all he does. There's something else that he also does. They forgot to add to his passive, but currently he's doing that in the game right now. Like, since launch, that has been a thing. It just wasn't listed, which is that for each 1% of HP loss increases his critical rate by 1% when using a skill. I'm gonna zoom in again here. And this is not part of the Rampage. So the Rampage, Berserk, that he applies to the allies, no, this is just for him. This is just for him. It doesn't even say like a limit. It just says... It just says it increases critical rate by 1% for every 1% of HP loss when using the skill. So, on top of doing everything that he does, he also had that. This is a festival unit. What were they even thinking? Now, I'm gonna make some theories, and you tell me if you agree with me. What I think really happened is they messed up. I think that this was not supposed to be the case. Him getting the extra crit chance when losing HP was not supposed to be the case. They took it out of his passive because it was not supposed to be in the game. Maybe it was something that was in like a testing for him, and they saw it was too strong, and they removed it from his passive, but they forgot to actually remove it. And then he released with it. They realized, oh shit! We released a prototype of the character that was not supposed to be released. And now they're like, well, we can't change it now. So let's say it was all planned from the beginning. Because if we change it now, if you remember, making changes to a character's passive post-launch, especially a nerf, because this would be a nerf if they were to remove this from him, is either cause for refund or a massive compensation at the very least. They don't want to refund. They most certainly don't want to give compensation to all players. So they're just saying, oops, we forgot that this was supposed to be written. Oh, silly us. That's the dumbest shit I've ever seen. It's such a huge thing. Because let's say you take away 50% of his health. That's 50% crit chance on top of his already high. So it was crazy. Like, you always crit with tier. Like, if you're not getting debuffed by Ban, right, you always crit with tier if you go second, especially. And I just thought, oh, well, you're lowering the crit resistance, so it makes sense. But now it really makes sense, because not only you're lowering their crit resistance by 40%, he also had the extra crit chance we didn't even know about. So he has 135% crit chance base, right? And in his team builds, you're not giving him much crit chance. So this is all he had to work with. You were lowering the crit resistance by 40%, which is great. But you're using the Nashi, using now Freya, you were using Ghislaine before, Freyr, and these characters weren't raising his crit chance. So we just assumed, well, he's critting so often because he's lowering their crit resistance, and he has pretty high crit chance, but no. On top of that, he was also raising his own crit chance, and no one knew. Wow. Isn't this such a funny? I find it very funny as well. They give characters such a humongously strong passive like this, when it should have been for a character from the series, but whatever. I just find this really funny. You know, there's no way, I do not believe that they just forgot to put the tax on. Because it's such a massive part of the passive that this has to be like, okay, if we're gonna market the character, this has to be in there, right? So people are more inclined to just summon knowing how strong he is, just from reading the text. So I do not believe that this is a mistake on the text. I think that he wasn't supposed to have this extra crit chance. But they're rolling with it because, well, they can remove it now. If they were to remove it, like if they didn't say anything, and in this patch, which data miners would find that would be the case if they were to change something for the character, but if they were to change the character to make him worse, people would notice. Like, they would physically notice it, and then they would start asking questions. So they probably didn't want to try that. My god. I am impressed. I didn't expect a blunder like this to happen 4 years into the game. It's hilarious though. I hope they don't do these anymore because I prefer knowing what the character does. But tell me, my theory has to be correct. I cannot believe that they made such a big mistake like that.